So it seems that we're finally starting to crack down on logo changes. For once, people are finally rosing up to the oversimplification of our logos to our favorite brands and companies. It isn't as bad as what they did to the Pringles man, removing his hair, making his mustache have no colors. Of course, they can keep the bow tie with the Pringles logo because that's actually a good change, I think. But to give back the Pringles man his hair and bring back the color in his mustache, that's simple. Okay, you could as easily as change it where the bow tie had the word Pringles in it. That's simple. Okay, but Cracker Barrel's change is hated by everybody. Okay, no one wanted this change. Okay, the reason why Cracker Barrel was so famous was because of the food. Let's just be honest. Okay, but one of the reasons why people liked Cracker Barrel so much was because it made you feel nostalgic for the old times. It was a reminder of the old times and a reminder of America as a nation. Okay, and also because the food is very good. And also there was a lot of things you can buy there, especially a lot of American things and also a lot of weird things like the Weasel Bowl. Also, I had a possum and also though I bought a realistic possum plus. I don't know if I have it anymore. I don't know if I threw it out or not, but I had a realistic possum plus from Cracker Barrel because I thought it'd be funny to get it when I was a kid. But I remember I used to eat at Cracker Barrel almost whenever we had a chance to go somewhere. It was either that place or Cracker Barrel or Lone Star if we had to drive, to a sort. It was a certain area of Illinois. They had, Cracker Barrel, and of course this place called Lone Star. Lone Star is completely gone, unfortunately. Okay, as well. Okay, as well. But Cracker Barrel was still around in the same area. It was still around, and the last time I went there was in 2023. Okay, no, not 2023. Last year. Not 2023. Last year was the last time we ever went to Cracker Barrel, and it was still the same restaurant. It was, had all the soul, love, it's just a nostalgic place. It was one of my favorite restaurants. The food, everything about it, was just so amazing. And but every time we went on vacation, we'd always stop at Cracker Barrel because it was like one of the best places to eat as well. The food was always so great, no matter what you got. Okay, but it seems that it's just so sad these companies are willing to throw their identity away. Okay, what made these places so special, what made Cracker Barrel so special, is that it was a relic of the past. It was designed like an old country store. It was designed like an old country restaurant, okay? Like the Wild West and stuff, okay? It was basically as American of a restaurant you got, okay? It was the most American restaurant out of all the restaurants, and it always had good food. And now they want to modernize it to change it because some Wuhan lady might come into the restaurant and be offended. Okay, and you never forget what they take from you. Okay, they took away the Pringles logo. They got rid of all of his color. Okay, they sucked out the creativity of all the logos and stuff as well, and they made everything all generic and boring. Okay, art, everything. Okay, like why do we have to change everything? Who is offended by beautiful art? Who is offended by Cracker Barrel? Okay, yes, I don't understand why people get offended over the looks of females in games, but changing the entire look of a restaurant because two people get offended, because people on Twitter get offended, when the 99% of people who go to Cracker Barrel are not offended by the restaurant, are not offended of the restaurant, okay? You gotta realize, 99% of people, regardless of race, ethnicity, political affiliation, are angry. Even like the Democrat Party and people who are liberal are angry over the Saints because you're messing with a lot of people's childhood memories of eating at Cracker Barrel on, especially if you go on a road trip across the country. You're messing with a lot of people's memories because you're changing this restaurant for no reason. For no reason. And guess what? They lost a lot of money over this. Maybe, hopefully, they'll change it back. They won't because, this is how the modern world works, okay, as well, okay. Same thing with Pringles. Everyone was still angry over Pringles chains as well, okay. And I didn't notice that a few companies actually changed back their logos after the past couple of years, like Pepsi did as well. Best Buy, I think, I think Best Buy has more than one logo. Okay, heck, I even came up with a better idea for a logo for Cracker Barrel. If they really wanted to redesign the logo, why don't you make the actual logo an actual barrel? It would make a lot of sense because hey, it's Cracker Barrel. It can have a logo. It can have a guy, and if you want to keep the guy in front, you can have the guy standing in front of the logo as well. Because hey, and you can still have the logo can have the logo and the shape of a barrel, and actually look like a bow, like give it lines and stuff, and put the word Cracker Barrel over it, and put the guy, and of course, keep the guy in the logo. Because why would you get rid of the guy? The guy did nothing wrong. Okay, he just owns a restaurant chain. Like he's just inviting you to his old country restaurant and his old country store. Like, what's so offensive about that? Because he's white, okay? And this is why the left is losing. This whole Cracker Barrel thing is exactly why the left is losing. Why the Democrats and the left keep losing, okay? Because they want to ruin everything people love and change it to fit 10% of society who is perpetually offended by everything, okay? 10% of society who is perpetually offended by everything, who is perpetually upset about everything, so they have to suck the creativity and make everything boring and dull. And the 90% can complain all they want, but we gotta appeal towards the 10% of society. We gotta appeal towards 10% of society who is offended over everything. Okay? Okay, I highly doubt most people who ate at Cracker Barrel were offended by the restaurant, okay? Who were offended by the restaurant, okay? As well, okay? 90% of people were never offended by the Cracker Barrel logo. Same thing with Ants and Mima. Most people weren't offended by Ants and Mima, okay? And same thing with the Randall Lakes thing, okay? Well, I want, they always say that, we had to remove the, girl from the Randall Lakes butter because, it offended people. Then they, because, it represents Native Americans ranting in a way. And then they removed the lady from the bottle, which basically means removing the lady from the rant. Which contradicts the left's entire argument as well. Okay? As well. This is why the left is losing. Exactly. Okay? This is why Democrats continue to lose, as well. They don't understand why they're losing. Okay? It would be different if the Democrats had but instead of appealing towards the 80 to 90% of society, they want to appeal towards the 10% of society who are perpetually offended by everything. Okay? This is why the Democrats have like a 10% approval, 20% approval rate. Okay? The Cracker Barrel thing is exactly why the Democrats have a 20% approval rate. Because, okay, it's not just a MAGA thing. Okay? MAGA is only like 20 to 30% of the population. Or 40% of the population. Like, people who are actually MAGA. Okay? 30 to 40% of the population. Okay? Far left is like 10% of the population. So, the vast majority of people, 40 to 40%, are center as well, okay? And of course, the rest is like the far right and extremist factions as well, Islamists as well. But the vast majority of normal people are offended by this, are upset over this, okay? I just find it funny. They get upset that Twitter liberals are offended because there wasn't enough LGBT representation, or there wasn't enough black people in movies, or enough, certain amount of these people in TV shows, okay? But they never look to hear about the 80% people who are upset that they ruined the Pringles Man logo. That they're upset that 80% of people are upset they changed the Cracker Barrel logo in the inside of the restaurant to make it more inclusive, quote unquote, okay? Well, it's not going to make it more inclusive because most of the people are angry over the chains. Okay? As well, okay? You should listen to the vast majority of people, not just the 10% of people who are perpetually offended. That's how, Disney failed. That's how the grind of Disney is because Disney only appeals towards the perpetually offended. That's why Disney does not pull the same numbers they used to. Only very rarely they do now of Lilo and Stitch. And they use nostalgia to push that movie heavily. Okay, same it Inside Out 2, a sequel to a huge movie. Deadpool Wolverine, 100% nostalgia pandering. Okay, 100% nostalgia pandering as well. Okay, yeah. And of course, what other movie did Disney release last 2024 that made a huge amount of money? Moana 2, but that movie was guaranteed to make money either way because of how popular the first movie was. But if the movie was actually good, it would have made way more money than it did. Okay, but it's the same reason why Disney isn't popular anymore. They got rid of everything people liked about the Disney company, the creativity, the uniqueness of Disney. And I remember the last time I went to Disney World, it was unrecognizable when I was a young child. Okay, when I was in the single digits. Okay, they ruined that entire thing. Okay, when I went to Disney World, it was a special thing, and I still remember all of the good times of Disney World, all of the amazing magical things. But modern Disney, they ruined it. And what I've heard ever since 2013, Disney has gotten worse. Or they getting rid of the dinosaur ride. Like, why are they getting rid of the dinosaur ride for Enchanto? Okay, like they could have easily just, because they have extra space, they could have easily just put the Enchanto ride somewhere else, or made a whole new park for Enchanto and Indiana Jones. Okay, make more money. Okay, but Disney doesn't want to do that because Disney is stupid. Okay, as well. Okay. I get they do have to expand parks and add new things every once in a while to keep people, because there are some people who are just lame and just want something new every single time they come back. But, I always like going on the same rides because it's just magical. That's, experiencing these rides at Disney. Okay, the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Haunted Mansion as well. Okay, the Peter Pan ride as well. Okay, the Finding Nemo one in Epcot. Okay, going to the Japanese store. Okay, those are memories that Disney does not care about, because Disney does not care about 90% of people. They want to appease the 10% of people, basically. Okay, heck, if they really want to include Avatar that badly, then yes, they can include Avatar. Okay, because Avatar is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. If they really want to throw Marvel in somewhere, heck, they can if they really want to, because they say, oh, we own this. Same thing as Star Wars. But yep, that's what this video here. Goodbye.